One of the groups attending the Jobs Summit tomorrow here at Parliament House is the Australian Hotels Association. As we mentioned a short time ago with Andrew, their submission identifies a range of industries that are short on workers. It estimates hospitality is short 102,000 workers. Let's bring in Stephen Ferguson, he's Chief Executive of the AHA. Stephen, as we look at that screen there, we put the graphic back up for our viewers. There are huge gaps. Baristas, chefs, restaurant managers, nearly 5,000 missing.
Housekeepers are a key worker that we're missing at the moment. Many hotels have either got a cap on the number of rooms or, say, capped at 70% because they simply can't turn the rooms over on time. So, yes, it's a critical issue. The ABS estimates the gap, the shortage at 50,000. SEEK estimates that the actual number of vacancies being advertised over 100,000.
Stephen, is it all about migration? Is that the answer here?
No, it's not, Kieran. I mean, like everyone knows that there's a massive visa backlog. The current government inherited a massive visa backlog, and there's also, so that has to be cleared. Andrew Giles has added another 200 workers and he's putting his best efforts into clearing the backlog. There's also a piece, a bit longer term, about migration. What do we do with migration? We agree with the government that there needs to be a focus on permanent skilled migration. The extent to which that cap's lifted, the barriers around bringing people in, that's a conversation to be had. But I think tomorrow, if one thing can come out of it, there's leadership out of this group tomorrow to address some of the structural complexities that we have in our own labour force, or people that might be not in the labour force but able to join the labour force.
You're thinking like mature age workers, that sort of thing?
Mature age workers, women wanting to get back into the workforce, the medium to long term unemployed, people living with a disability. I think that there's a massive gap there. You know, there's a stat that the National Seniors told me yesterday that in Australia, 3% of people on the pension are working. In New Zealand, that number's 24%. What are the Kiwis doing that we aren't doing? We've got 2.5 million pensioners, and really understand the problem that Jim Chalmers has in the budget, making the changes that are being suggested. But if you look at the Kiwis and you look at us, you say, well, hang on, there's something that we can do. There's people out there wanting to work. I know the National Seniors did a survey recently and they said that about 20% of pensioners want to come back into the workforce. Now, there's 2.5 million pensioners. So we have workers here that we want to be able to access. In our industry, hospitality, we can provide them short shifts and other things.
So those penalties for working additional hours essentially should be reduced, and the argument is that the benefit outweighs the cost for the government.
Look, you know, Jim Chalmers is aware there's a problem there. There's a problem for the budget. We're not sort of expert in trying to determine what happens there, other than to say there's that opportunity exists. With women coming back into the workforce, we work with our union, the United Workers Union, to get a change in our award where we have now what's called flexible part-time. Now, what that means is that if someone as distinct from a casual who has no guarantee of hours and no guarantee of wages, someone on flexible part-time has a guarantee of a minimum number of hours and a minimum wage. That provision has not been picked up in other retail awards. We'd love to see that go across other awards, and we think that will help assist women. And there's apparently 272,000 people that can't come back into the workforce because of childcare responsibilities. We'd love to see them have that opportunity and get decreased casualisation and increased regular hours and pay.
It's a greater incentive.
Yeah, well, and that's the sort of stuff that I'd love to see. And I know the Prime Minister's led. I'm a huge fan of this summit. The Prime Minister, the Treasurer have all been accessible. Ministers Burke, O'Connor, O'Neill, everyone. I mean, there's been 100 meetings talking about this. And I think from the people in the room tomorrow, if they can sort of commit to working together to solve these problems, the summit will have been a success.
Stephen Ferguson, Chief Executive of the Australian Hotels Association. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.